Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us today for the Johns Hopkins School of Education Special Education Virtual Information Session. My name is Sion John. I'm the Assistant Director of Admissions here at the Johns Hopkins School of Education. Also presenting today, I have my colleague from the Office of Admissions, and she will introduce herself.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Tanya McMillan. I am an admissions coordinator here at the School of Education. Thank you so much for joining us today.
We also have one of the special education faculty members, Dr. Rebecca Cruz, joining us today. Before we get started, I would like to cover a few housekeeping topics. First, today's webinar is being recorded. We will be able to share the link to the recorded video within 1 week. There'll also be a Q&A session at the end of the presentation. Please type your question in the Q&A box and we will answer your questions. I would like to share the agenda for today's virtual information session. We'll start the presentation sharing an overview of the Johns Hopkins School of Education. Then Dr. Cruz will go over the details of the special education programs. Lastly, admissions will wrap it up with admissions requirements and leave the floor open for questions at the end. And to start, we're one of 9 schools at Johns Hopkins University. We began offering college courses for teachers in 1909, and then we became our own school in 2007. We are proud to share that the Johns Hopkins School of Education is consistently ranked one of the top schools in education by the U.S. News and World Report. And for school enrollment, we have approximately 1,741 students, and we offer 25 graduate programs, which includes our doctoral, master's, and graduate certificate programs. And we have a strong network of over 24,000 SOE alums. And here on the slide, you'll see the special education faculty members. And presenting today, we have Dr. Rebecca Cruz. Dr. Cruz is an assistant professor at the School of Education. Her research interest includes examining disproportionality in special education and discipline, and in redefining the concept of inclusion from a perspective that considers disability not as an individual trait, but as a product of political, social, and historical practices. Dr. Cruz teaches classes to students preparing to become special education teachers, including curriculum and instruction that provides creative learning experiences to diverse student populations. And prior to beginning her doctoral studies, Dr. Cruz worked in middle and high school settings to develop co-teaching and inclusion models. So at this time, I'll hand the floor over to Dr. Cruz. Welcome.
It's great to be here. Thank you, everybody, for taking the time and coming to hear a little bit more about our program. Like Sion said, my name's Dr. Cruz, and some of my other colleagues in the faculty include Dr. Tammy Martyr. She is our board certified behavior analyst. She is a faculty lead, and she does a lot of work around the autism certificate and the BCPBA certificate. And we also have Dr. Shelton, and she is a brand new faculty. She was hired at the same time as I was, and she does a lot of work around reading development for students with intellectual disabilities. So I'm really excited to share what our program looks like with you. So one of the things that we're really aiming for addressing in our program is this idea that the United States is facing a critical shortage of special education teachers. The state of Maryland particularly has a lot of openings for special educators. And this is also a nationwide phenomenon. And so we're really aiming to build a pipeline to expand professionals who go out into the field, able to teach creatively, able to teach inclusively, and able to really reframe what special education means in terms of supporting students with disabilities. And so part of our work in this program is filling that pipeline with people who are really highly qualified to go out and teach students with the most needs in our schools, and making sure that you're supported throughout your first year and beyond so that you continue in the field and enjoy the work. And so currently our program, we offer 3 distinct pathways. We have a mild to moderate disabilities certification and master's program, and that's the program that I am primarily work in. We have a severe disabilities with an autism focus program, and that is, again, Dr. Martyr is really the key faculty related to that program. And then we have a severe disabilities with an applied behavior analysis focus. So 3 different masters and certification pathways. And then we also have those 2 credential or certificate programs, sorry. So our course offerings right now, we run courses in the summer, the fall, and the spring. And because most of the folks that come into our program are working professionals, so we have a lot of people who are paraprofessionals, or we have folks who are on emergency credentials and they're already working in their classrooms, or we just have people who are just working full-time jobs and want to kind of transition into teaching. And so our coursework is really designed to meet those needs. And so our face-to-face instruction happens in the evenings. And then we have a few courses that are online in an asynchronous format, and then some that meet via Zoom. And I'll talk a little bit more about that in a minute. All of our instruction right now happens at the Applied Physics Lab, and that's in Laurel, Maryland. And the reason for that is that we partner a lot with Montgomery County, Howard County, and Prince George's. And so it kind of helps folks who are working in those districts not to have to commute all the way into Baltimore to our Homewood campus. So like I said, some of our courses are offered online. Most folks complete the program in 2 years. It's really aimed to be like a cohort model. And so you kind of come in and you complete coursework in a scope and sequence within 2 years. Some folks choose to slow down a little bit and take 3 or 4 years. So that is an option. We have one person who's been really ambitious and trying to complete it in 1 year. I don't recommend that, but if that is your ambition, it is technically possible. So some of the key milestones that we have embedded in our program, if you were going to be a candidate in our program, if you want to have a Maryland certification stamp, then you would need to take the Praxis 2 for special education, the Praxis 2 assessment in reading, and we have coursework that is geared towards helping you prepare for those assessments. You would take the comprehensive exam right before your internship year. So when you're pretty much done with all of your coursework, you would take this sort of comprehensive content knowledge exam, and we would, again, support you through that. And then we have, for folks seeking state certification, a culmination project, which is basically mirrored off of the EdTPA, which is an assessment that you would need to get in order for your Maryland certification. And then if you have the option to complete a graduate project, and that is really meant for folks who are either looking for their master's, but not necessarily certification, or for folks who want their certification, but may eventually want to go into research or some kind of leadership roles, then you could opt into the graduate project. And I can talk more about that if there is interest. So again, Dr. Martyr is really our key program faculty for the autism focus and Masters of Special Education, but I'll talk a little bit about it here. So it's really meant for folks who want to gain expertise in specialized instruction to meet educational needs as students with autism spectrum disorders in a K-12 setting. It's 36 credits worth of coursework, 12 of which, 12 of them total, 6 are in person and 6 are online. And then there's an applied internship semester. It's typically completed in 2 years. And if you want more information about this specific program, go ahead and talk to Dr. Martyr. Her contact info is right here. She's really nice. So shoot her an email if you want more information. Here is just a sort of the sample of our scope and sequence for that program. So you would take coursework on legal aspects of serving students with those disabilities. You would take inclusive practices where you'd really get a good sense of how you can support students with autism in a general education setting. And like I said, you'd do an internship year. And the courses here that are noted with an asterisk are the ones that happen online. So all of the other courses are courses that you would come face-to-face and take in our applied physics lab in Laurel. We also have a graduate certificate in autism, and this is really designed to be a little bit less intensive than our master's program. It's an 18 credit program, and it's all online. It's really geared towards folks who are parents of a child with autism or certified educators who kind of want to get a different role in their district or something. and or members of the community who really want practical knowledge for supporting children and adults with autism. It addresses a wide range of competencies that are necessary for effective educational programming for students with autism and other kinds of pervasive developmental disorders. Again, contact Dr. Martyr. And like I said, Dr. Shelton and I are the core faculty for our special education masters with a mild to moderate disabilities focus. And this is really a program that's meant to help you gain expertise in specialized instruction to meet the educational needs of students with disabilities across a wide range of educational settings. So this is really kind of like a special education generalist credential. It ends with you getting your MSDE approved initial certification for special education, and you can choose two pathways. You could do elementary middle, which certifies you to teach in grades 1 through 8, or you could do a secondary adult credential, which would certify you to teach in grades 6 through 12. They're really very similar pathways in terms of coursework. There are a few small differences, but it is very important that when you select that, if you are currently working in a classroom setting, that where you work, if you want that to count for your internship credits, that it matches your credential. So if, for example, you were working in a 12th grade classroom, but you want an elementary middle certification, then you wouldn't be able to use your place of employment for the internship experience. So happy to take more questions about that. And we do offer specific courses in methods, so math, spoken and written language, transition, behavior management. Because we have Dr. Martyr and all of her expertise in applied behavior analysis, we do have an applied behavior programming course that's really popular. It's a 39 credit program, 13 courses, and then 2 semesters worth of internship are included in there. It's typically completed in 2 years. And again, here is just sort of a sample scope and sequence of what kinds of courses you would take. So if you were taking characteristics of students with mild to moderate disabilities, you would learn about some of the legal eligibility criteria for what how a student would qualify to be have an IEP for a disability under that category. I mentioned the applied behavior programming course. We've also got collaborative, where you would learn how to work with a whole variety of stakeholders within the educational setting. And access to general education with tech, which really would help you use all of the different technological tools that we have at our disposal to help students gain access to general education settings. So again, the courses with asterisks are online, and those are actually right now asynchronous courses. We have a few courses that used to be face-to-face that we're slowly transitioning to more of a synchronous model. So you would Zoom into that class, and all of the rest of the courses are face-to-face, and they happen at our applied physics lab. So one of the key programs that we have that's really exciting is called the Special Education Teacher Immersion Training, or it's called the SETIT program. And that is specifically for a partnership that we have with Montgomery County Public Schools right now. So if you are, or you're seeking to be a paraeducator in Montgomery County, then you could apply for this program. It is a 2-year cohort model program. And so it's a little bit less flexible than if you just applied under our Flex program. You'd really have to take the coursework in that order, but you are eligible for some tuition support through Montgomery County. And so that's a really helpful program that we offer. And, you know, you're also, of course, you get your salary and benefits through Montgomery County. So if you want more information about that, contact Dr. Shelton. She is currently in charge of that program. So ideal candidates for our program are those who really want to teach in the state of Maryland at this time, those who want to do general special education, or we also offer a lot of options for those wanting more of an autism focus. It's really a program that's meant for those who can commit to 2 years of intensive graduate coursework. So it's important to note that this is a graduate program and we expect graduate level work. And so you kind of have to be willing to put a lot of time and effort into it, but it is a really high quality program, we think. And so worth the time if you are willing to put in the effort. And I think I hand this back off to Sian at this point.
Hi, Dr. Cruz. I'll take over from this point on. Thank you so much. So now we're going to continue by going over the application requirements for the program. A 3.0 or better cumulative undergraduate GPA is required. Applicants must submit a completed application, which can be found on our website. The application fee is $80. Official transcripts from all post-secondary institutions attended are also required. Transcripts, including institutions you may have taken courses but did not receive a degree, are required as well. In addition, an essay and a current resume is also needed, as well as 2 letters of recommendation from individuals who can speak to your work in the field of special education. For the mild to moderate program, testing scores are required if your GPA is less than 3.0. Please visit the Maryland Department of Education website for a listing of specific tests that are accepted. Lastly, applicants who meet admission requirements will be asked to interview in person, via Zoom or by phone, to ensure that their goals align with the program's goals before an offer of admission is made. For international students, if your degree was completed outside of the United States, please keep in mind that you will need to complete a course-by-course credential evaluation. Additional information can be found on our school's website. Please note that both programs offer part-time enrollment only. Admission is not open to international applicants that are seeking an F1 or J1 visa for this program. The current tuition for the School of Education is $1,025 per credit for face-to-face courses and $1,025 plus a $20 per credit technology fee for online courses. In addition, the registration fee is $175 per semester. And there's an initial application fee of $80 when you submit your application online. For additional details on tuition and fees, please visit our School of Education website. If you're interested in applying for federal financial aid, we strongly encourage you to apply for financial aid when you start your application by completing a FAFSA form. You'll also find here external resources via scholarship.com and teacher.org. The School of Education also offers a limited number of partial need-based institutional scholarships each year. Please keep in mind to apply for the SOE Endowed Scholarship. Students must complete the FAFSA form. These partial scholarships are applied to tuition expenses beginning in the fall semester. To learn if you do qualify for the Endowed Scholarship or have any questions regarding financial aid, please visit our school's website. At this time, we'd like to open the floor for questions. Please type your questions into the chat area and we will be happy to answer your questions.
And while we wait for questions, Dr. Cruz, we have some frequently asked questions here in the Office of Admissions. The first one is, where are the classes offered for the mild to moderate program?
Sure, happy to answer that. So like I mentioned, all of our courses for all of our programs at this time, unless they're offered online, they happen at the Applied Physics Lab, and that's out in Laurel, Maryland. So really useful for folks who are coming from Montgomery County or Prince George's or Howard. Not so useful if you're in Baltimore City schools. But yeah, and they happen in the evenings. So, if you do need to commute in, it makes it a little bit easier.
And the next question we have is, are applicants eligible for a generic special education certification at the elementary or secondary level?
I'm sorry, I might not understand the question. Can you repeat it? Is it in the?
Sorry about that. So the question is, are applicants eligible for a generic special education certification at the elementary or the secondary level?
Yeah, so we offer both. And so when you would apply for the program, you would select which one you want to do. And I think I mentioned if you wanted to do elementary, then that would give you a generic special education certification for grades K through 8. If you want to do secondary, then you would have a certification for 6 through 12. And wherever whichever one you select, your internship would need to match that. So if you're one of those folks who already is working in schools and you're interested in getting your certification because you're on like an emergency credential or something, you would just have to make sure that where you were employed would match the credential that you're trying to get. So I hope that makes sense. I can try and clarify if not.
Yes, that made sense. Thank you, Dr. Cruz. The next question I see in the chat box is, hello, I finished my undergraduate outside of the US and is currently teaching here in Virginia. Do I still need to take the IELTS? Thank you.
So I can answer that,
Go ahead.
Sion. This is Tanya. Yes, I can answer that. Yes, if your schooling is outside of the United States, you would still have to take the IELTS or the TOEFL exam, and we'd also require a credential evaluation of your undergraduate transcripts as well.
All right, so the next question we have is, Dr. Cruz, is how many internships are scheduled and where do I do my internships?
That is a great question. Yeah. So like I said, most people come into our program already working in a classroom. And so that is a really sort of synergistic way for you to get your internship done. You can do it right there where you're working. If you are not in a classroom, though, we do have an internship coordinator. Her name is Julie Taylor, and you could always contact her. And she helps you set up your internship. And then, they kind of take into account location. So if you are located in a specific place in Maryland, then they can kind of arrange with that district that you want to do your internship in to make sure that you're placed there. Yeah, and then, we kind of set it up from there. So there is a process for if you don't have a place where you're working, that we would help you connect you with an internship site.
The next question we have, what does the TOEFL waiver involve and who may qualify to apply this waiver? And we can copy actually and paste or share the requirements that you would have to meet in order to waive the TOEFL exam. All right, and Tanya's going to copy and paste the requirements. And the last question I have is, Dr. Cruz, how long does it take typically for the mild to moderate program for a student to complete the program while they're working full-time and then taking classes part-time?
Yeah, so it's meant to be a 2-year program for those, even if you're working full-time, that's really sort of what our aim is. And so it is, if you apply for the Flex program, it is possible to slow down if your work is really intense and you don't want to take that much coursework. You can take up to 5 years if needed. The program works best for those who intend to finish it in 2 years, though.
Thank you, Dr. Cruz. So we're going to move on to the Contact Us page. Here on this page, on this slide, excuse me, if you have any admissions related questions or questions about your application, please reach out to my colleague, Tanya McMillan. And if you have any program related questions, please reach out to Miss Julianne Taylor. She's a senior academic program administrator for the special education programs. All right, so it looks like there are no more questions. Thank you again for your interest in the Johns Hopkins School of Education. And thank you to Dr. Cruz for the wonderful presentation and for being here today. We look forward to hearing from you. Have a wonderful evening, everyone. Thank you.